Hello, lovelies! Now, I know a ton of you are still basking in all of the glory that is summer, and maybe you're not quite ready to start thinking about getting back to school and back to work. But of course, preparation is the key to success. So over the next few weeks, I am going to be rolling out 30 brand new meal prep ideas for you to make you the envy of the lunchroom and sort of ease that transition out of summer and back into reality. Just before we get to all of this insanely tasty meal prep deliciousness, I have a really exciting announcement for you guys. It seems as though I am actually eating for two. That's right. We've got a brand new baby Geek joining the team in December 2018. That's right, guys. I am 4 months pregnant. I am feeling great so far and oh so excited about this new addition. Now, I'm going to be sharing the entire adventure over on my Instagram. So of course, if you want to follow me and learn a little bit more about the pregnancy, how it's gone, and of course, the baby when it comes, you can follow me at the Domestic Geek 1. Now, without further ado, me and this little one are ready to start talking some meal prep. How about you? My first meal prep box today is what I'm calling a deconstructed egg roll meal prep. Now, if you're anything like me, you gotta love the egg roll. So super good, but a bit fussy to make. This is basically all of the goodness of egg rolls, except with a lot less fuss. We're going to get started with a skillet heating up on the stove over medium-high. To that, I'm going to add some sesame oil. Once that oil is nice and hot, I'm going to get my ground pork into the pan. Now, if you're not a fan of cooking with pork, not a problem at all. You could go ahead and use some ground chicken or ground turkey in this recipe. Both would also work really, really well. We're going to cook our pork until it is no longer pink, using our spoon to sort of break it up into bits. And once it's cooked, we're gonna go ahead and add some finely diced onion to the pan. We'll give that a few minutes to just soften up completely. Then it will be time to add some veggies to the pan. So in this case, I've got some finely shredded green cabbage, as well as some shredded carrot here, all quintessential ingredients in a perfect egg roll. Once those veggies have had a chance to soften up just a little bit, we'll go ahead and add some flavor to the pan. I'm doing that with some soy sauce, a little bit of rice vinegar, and some sriracha, which of course is optional, but I think is always delicious. Once you've got all of that mixed together, the last step will be adding some green onion, and it's that simple. You basically have the filling for an egg roll all ready to be devoured. I'm just going to cook my green onion for another minute, and then we will take this off the heat and get to work constructing our meal prep box. For this box, I am starting with a layer of white rice as my base. You could also always do this with some quinoa if you wanted to amp up that protein factor a little bit. Then I'm going to pile on all of my amazing egg roll filling. And to get that really satisfying crunch that of course an egg roll is known for, I am making some wonton crackers. This could not be simpler. To do this, I just cut some wonton wrappers into little strips. I brushed them with oil, hit them with some salt and pepper, and got them into the oven until they were nice and golden brown. These cook really, really fast, so 3 to 5 minutes is all they'll need. Keep a close eye on them because they do like to burn. I'm going to add a couple of my wonton crackers into my meal prep and then finish this off with some green onion and some sesame seeds for garnish. How pretty, how delicious. This meal prep can be stored in the refrigerator for up to 3 days and then reheated just before enjoying. It's sure to leave you wanting more. Next up, for something super fresh and colorful, I have an amazing jerk shrimp meal prep with a tasty mango salad on the side. We're gonna get started by making our jerk shrimp, which actually in this case could not be easier. I've got some peeled shrimp laid out on a baking sheet. I'm gonna toss it with a little bit of oil, some salt and pepper, and some jerk seasoning. Now, jerk seasoning can be found in the spice aisle at most supermarkets, or you can make your own pretty easily. I will link a recipe in the description box below if you feel so inclined. Once that's all tossed together, you just get it into the oven. It will cook up at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for between 8 and 10 minutes. The great part about shrimp is that it cooks really, really quickly. You know it's done when it turns bright pink and opaque, and that means you can set it aside and get to work on your amazing rice and peas. It all starts with some white rice in my saucepan. To that, I'll add some red kidney beans that have been rinsed and drained. Next, I've got some ginger headed into my pan with a little bit of allspice. Then I'm going to combine some water as well as some coconut milk. So this will have a nice underlying coconutty flavor that I love. I'll just bring this mixture to a boil, and once it's reached a boil, I'm gonna pop the lid on my saucepan, reduce my heat to medium-low, and let it simmer away for about 15 minutes or until all of the liquid has been absorbed by that rice. Then I'm just going to season it up with some salt and some pepper, toss it with some green onions, and the rice and peas are ready to be enjoyed. For the final step in this meal prep, we are mixing up a fresh and delicious mango salad. It starts with some beautiful mango chunks. Of course, the riper your mango in this case, the better it's going to taste. Then I've got some diced red pepper headed in here with some minced red onion, and I'll finish it off with the flavors of freshly grated ginger, some red pepper flakes, and of course, some lime zest and juice. We'll give that all a toss, and then we are ready to start constructing our meal prep box. In this case, I'll start with my rice and peas as my base. Then I'm going to pile in that mango salad and finish it off with my amazing jerk shrimp. This stuff is absolutely to die for. It will last in your refrigerator for up to 3 days. I prefer to eat it cold, but if you did want to reheat it, you'll just want to remove the mango salad first, and then you can reheat the rice and shrimp if you feel so inclined. Next, for something super fun, I am making some buffalo chicken meatballs. Yeah, guys, all the tastiness of buffalo chicken wings, except in meatball form. What's not to like about that? For this recipe, I am starting with some ground chicken in my bowl. To that, I'm going to add some breadcrumbs and 1 egg. These ingredients just help to bind everything together. Next, for all of that amazing buffalo flavor, I'm gonna go ahead and add a whole lot of hot sauce to this. Now, if you're not a fan of the heat, but you want that flavor, you can go ahead and mix half hot sauce with barbecue sauce instead. That makes it a little bit sweeter and slightly less spicy. But of course, I love the heat, so I go all hot sauce all the time. To that, I'll add some sliced green onion and finish it off with a whole heaping helping of crumbled blue cheese. Now, of course, the blue cheese in this recipe is always optional, but because ground chicken is so lean, you kind of want that extra fat and flavor that comes from the blue cheese. Trust me, guys, I would not lead you astray here. We're gonna hit this with a little bit of salt and pepper and give it all a good mix until it's well combined. Then we can just roll these into balls, place them on a parchment lined baking sheet, and get them into the oven at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for between 25 and 30 minutes, or until they reach a safe internal temperature of 165 degrees Fahrenheit on a meat thermometer. Now, I always recommend brushing these with a little bit of hot sauce during the cooking process so they stay nice and saucy and delicious, and you may even want to add a little hot sauce at the end of cooking as well. To assemble our meal prep box, I'm gonna start by making a really simple salad to go with these meatballs. It all starts with some beautiful green leaf lettuce in my box. To that, I'm going to add some finely sliced carrot and celery, always classically served with buffalo chicken wings. And then I'm gonna top that with a little more crumbled blue cheese and my tasty meatballs. I'm going to serve this with a side of blue cheese dressing for dipping. You could always swap in some ranch here if you're a ranch fan instead. And bada bing, bada boom, buffalo chicken deliciousness that actually really holds up well as a meal prep. These will last in the refrigerator for up to 3 days. I usually enjoy them cold, but if you did want to reheat the meatballs, just go ahead and remove them from the dish, heat them up, and enjoy. For my next meal prep, I am making an Italian-inspired tortellini salad. I absolutely love this because once it's constructed, it can be enjoyed cold right out of the fridge. What could be easier when it comes to meal prep? Now I'm going to get started by boiling my tortellini. I'm using 3 cheese tortellini. I bought it in the deli section at my supermarket. You can usually find it fresh. And what I love about using fresh tortellini is that it cooks up in absolutely no time. You just pop it in some boiling water, and just a few minutes later, you have amazing tortellini ready to be enjoyed. Next, I am making a really simple dressing for this. It's just a matter of combining some olive oil with some red wine vinegar, some Dijon mustard, a little bit of Italian seasoning, some salt, some pepper, whisk that all together, and then we will toss it with our tortellini, and you can set it aside while you construct your salad. Now, for this salad, I am starting with a base of baby spinach, but of course you could use any greens you wanted here. Then I am going to add my cooked tortellini. Next, we'll layer in some cherry tomatoes as well as some bocconcini cheese, which is fresh mozzarella, so super yummy. I'm using some salami here as well. You could totally skip the salami if you want to keep this vegetarian. It's absolutely up to you, but of course the salami does add some protein to this dish. And finally, I'm rounding out all this tastiness with a whole handful of green olives, which I absolutely adore. How simple was that? Easy peasy tortellini. That didn't rhyme. I'm getting a look from back there, being like, no, that did not rhyme. Okay, we're moving on. For my last trick, I am making some Chipotle chicken lettuce wraps. Now, I love lettuce wraps for meal prep because of course they're really fresh and delicious and low carb. We're going to get started by mixing up our Chipotle chicken mixture. This all starts with some oil heating up in a skillet on the stove. Once my oil is nice and hot, I can go ahead and add my ground chicken to the pan. Of course, you could always do this with ground turkey as well. That would be a great substitute here. Once my chicken is fully cooked and no longer pink, I'll go ahead and add my finely diced red bell pepper to the pan and let that soften up for another 2 or 3 minutes. Next, I've got some canned black beans that have been rinsed and drained headed in there, as well as some corn kernels. I'm using frozen, but of course fresh is always a great alternative if you have some on hand. And then finally, it's time to add a whole lot of flavor to this. I've got some minced garlic headed into the pan with 1 chipotle pepper that I have finely minced. If you love that chipotle flavor as much as I do, you go ahead and add as much chipotle as you see fit. And then we'll finish this off with some salt and pepper. We'll stir this and continue to cook it for another few minutes until everything is heated through. The last step, we'll be adding some green onion. I'm just going to cook my green onion for another minute, and then we can set it aside and allow it to cool while we get to work on a really simple homemade tomato salsa for this box. This starts with some chopped tomatoes in my bowl. To that, I'm adding some finely sliced green onion, some freshly chopped cilantro, a little bit of cumin, some salt and pepper, and the zest and juice of 1 lime. I'll give that a good toss and we are ready to start our assembly. Now, for my lettuce wraps today, I am using Boston Bib lettuce. It's actually my very, very favorite lettuce to wrap with. I'm just going to tuck a few leaves into the side. Then I'll pile in my chicken mixture and finish it off with my tasty tomato salsa. This meal prep will last in your refrigerator for up to 3 days. I always enjoy it cold by just piling that chicken mixture into a lettuce wrap and then topping it with that tomato salsa. Guys, let us eat. I hope you'll give all 5 of these awesome ideas a try, and if you do, be sure to tweet me, Instagram me, and Snapchat me a photo because of course I love seeing your kitchen creations. Keep in mind, I will be back all this month with more tasty meal prep ideas, so you definitely don't want to miss a single one. Also, I have compiled all of this tastiness in a single handy dandy downloadable PDF that includes all 30 meal prep ideas, and it's free on my website. So there is a link to that in the description box below. Finally, if you have not already, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell because of course there is lots more deliciousness where this came from.